thank you for coming on a Tuesday evening to Whole Foods to meet with us. I'm Kaz with the San Antonio Vegetarian Society. We're a vegan group. We've been meeting every month since 1988. This is Alison, the San Antonio Vegetable Eaters. And how long have you been around? Not you, but your group.
The group, for almost 2 years.
For 2 years, it's another vegan group in San Antonio that we're proud to associate with. So tonight we're welcoming Sandra Kimler and Tyffany Howard. Both vegans, of course, and international speakers and authors. Sandra lives in Byron Bay, Australia. She's going home tomorrow. And Tyffany lives just up the road in Austin. And Sandra is also a nutritionist, and Tyffany is a tapping facilitator and spiritual teacher, which we'll hear a little bit more about. And they began touring Texas together, giving talks, and so far you've been to Temple, Texas, that's awesome. Austin, Dallas, and now for your final speech together in San Antonio until you come back again. We're so happy that you're both here. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
First of all, I just want to quickly say I am filming this, but none of you are in the picture. It goes right above your heads, so I can tell you so. Thank you so much for coming. May I ask how many vegans are here today? Wonderful. And vegetarians? And yeah, you come.
Oh no, I'm vegan. Yeah.
5 vegans.
Okay, that is wonderful. Today we are going to talk about nutrition and veganism, but also the feeling that comes with being a vegan, because everything has a vibration in life, and especially food. Food also comes with a vibration. All food comes with its own story. So that's what we are going to talk about. Because for a very long time now, we've always thought that food and the way we thought had a connection with each other, right? And an example of this is when we are teary or we're sad, we tend to grab for the sugary foods. We feel it within ourselves that we want to grab sugary foods when we are feeling a bit down. The same is that when we are a bit aggressive or we feel a bit hyper, we want more savory foods. And the reason for that is because our vibration is at the same level as those foods. Now, in our personal life, when we are upset, right? Let's say we had a fight with our partner, we get that knot in our stomach. That is our brain telling our stomach to stop digesting altogether. And when we've made up with our partner, our body relaxes and we go back to digesting. Yeah? So it's very important that we are aware of the correlation between our body and our mind. But where's the proof? Where's the proof? Well, not that long ago, there was a study done by Dr. Masaru Emoto, which is a Japanese doctor. He passed away recently, and he did a study on water. I don't know if you're familiar with that. He wrote a book called The Secret Life of Water. I've got some of the speeches here. What he did, you'll put on to my scripts, that's it. What he did, he had bottles of water, and he would write a little word on that. Like he had a negative side and he had a positive side. And he would write like something negative, and then he would freeze in all those bottles of water. On the positive side, he would write kindness, love, I love you, beautiful, and he too would freeze in those bottles of water. The reason being, he wanted to see what would happen to the cell structure of water. Because as we know, our snowflakes, they're all that sparkly, beautiful, starry way, and that's what he expected. But when he had a look under a microscope, he found something that is incredible. The negative side, what he was expecting was a starry structure, wasn't like that at all. In fact, it had changed color. Some of it was gray, others were brown. That you can give it to them so they can have a look. Then none of them were beautiful, right? And when I studied all the examples of the negative side, what actually came to me is that the examples actually look like cancer cells. If we have to think about what a healthy cell looks like, and if you think about what a cancer cell looks like, which is like a sponge, what is that how you say it? A sponge, brown or grey, that's what the water looked like. When he had a look at the positive side, he saw that what he expected, all the beautiful starry crystals, right? So what this means is that there was definitely a relationship between negativity and positivity. Now you might say, what's that got to do with us? We're not a bottle of water, right? But we are, on average, around 70% water. Have a think about it. If a negative word on a bottle can change water structure, how do you feel negativity would do to our water inside of us, right? So I'll take it a step further. What about the food that we eat? Well, we have fruit and vegetables, and indeed, if we buy it at any old supermarket, these fruit and vegetables are sprayed, they are genetically modified, they are not handled with care. In fact, the bigger the better, the more, it's like Frankenstein food, right? What is that water structure like of those fruit and vegetables? Compare that to organic fruit and vegetables. Well, they are grown in soils with a lot of nutrition. They are not sprayed, they are not modified, and they are handled with care. Everybody that works in the organic industry has to have some kind of love for what they do, because let's face it, that fruit and vegetables doesn't look like the conventional fruit and vegetables, right? So, since we are here all vegan and vegetarian, say this to your friends. What about the animals that we eat? Animals are also 70% water. What is their water structure like? Well, I can tell you they are pretty miserable in their life. I don't need to go into details because you know they suffer. So their water structure is also full of suffering. And they eat that. They eat that, right? What does that do to our body? Some people will say, well, it's okay because I eat organically grown animals. Right. Are they aware that these animals go to the same slaughterhouse? Right? These animals go to the same place. And when adrenaline sets in, cell structure changes, right? They become fearful, sad. You can smell death and blood, and they take that in. Right? There is no such thing as a humanely killed, happy animal. It doesn't exist. So keep that in mind for yourself and think about your life. I mean, how happy are you in your life? How much positive influences do you have in your life? At work, are you being supported? Do people love you? Or are you struggling? What is it that you could tweak in your life? It's to have as many positive things as possible in your life. Have a think about that. Have you got anything to add to that? Yeah, because there is also a lot of criticism attached to that. Because criticism, sorry Tim, I want to talk for a moment. Criticism also has a vibration. How much do you criticize? How much do you judge? Do you gossip or do you talk bad? Right? Do we tell little white lies? All those things have a vibration. As a vegan, we strive to be the highest possible vibration, but it is a lifestyle. And what we are here to teach you or to show you is ways where we can think the most positive thoughts and speak with kindness and do kind acts, because that is what we need in today's world. But I'll let you speak for a minute.
Thank you. So you're saying, what does this have to do with being vegan?
Yeah.
Being vegan is just one part. Okay, that's the body, but it's also spiritual if you think about it, because intentionally choosing not to kill and eat our family, animals, is compassion, right? Compassion is a high vibration, but we're more than just body. As San stated, we're mind and we're spirit. Because we're vegan, we know that, we know we love all beings, but we still go through these life challenges, right? We still experience angst and unhappiness and sadness and worry. Just being vegan hasn't made us all go lucky every day, right? So that means that there's a part of us that we're not tapping into, right? There's a part of us that we haven't addressed, the mind. So I'm talking about criticism. Everything that we do, words, food, the people that we hang around, this room, all of us, we're all energy. Okay? Energy can be low, guilt, shame. As vegans, we may experience guilt, shame, right? Because people, on average, probably on a daily basis, depending where you are, who you work with, attack you, right? I was the weird one. I was a lawyer for 13 and a half years. When I was a prosecutor, everyone in my office ate corpses. But I was the one they picked on, right? Oh, you're the weird one from Austin, because I lived in another area of Texas. Oh, you're weird. You're that vegan. You're that vegetarian. They always picked on me. So I would have to ask myself, is there something wrong with me because I choose not to kill and eat my family? Right? That comes up, even though we say, no, I'm a strong vegan. No, think about it. I'm sure you've had that thought maybe once or twice. That is judgment. They're judging us, but they're also judging themselves, because when they question you about your lifestyle, your compassion, they're also wondering themselves, why do they choose to eat flesh and you don't? You've heard it. Oh, those vegans, those self-righteous people, they think they're better than everyone else. We're human beings, so we consume that, right? And so when we're feeling judged by them, that's on them. But we're also judging ourselves. We're wondering why we don't fit in with everyone else. Because we're human beings. Humans want to be loved, and they want to fit in with everyone else. I'm not saying we're better than anyone else. I'm just saying we're a little bit more advanced. Because if you can look at an animal and have compassion and decide, I'm making a choice not to kill and eat this animal, you're here. Your vibration is higher. Think about it. Because killing something and eating something that's dead, you have a live body, you need live food. Eating something that's dead lowers your vibration. Because as San says, you're taking on the vibration of what you eat. Green leafy vegetables, high vibration. A chicken that's been tortured and mutilated and fried and terrified has low vibration. And when you're putting low vibration food in your body, it affects your mind, it affects your spirit. Because we are spirit, mind, and body.
Yeah, we could really look at people like who are more enlightened and have a look at what they eat. Because let's think about Gandhi, for instance. I mean, would he really be seen eating the flesh of another? No, they wouldn't. So that takes care of, I would like to talk about the body and nutrition.
Yes.
Because there is different foods that we can eat, and if we should look into alkaline and acidic foods. Because do you all know what alkaline foods are? Basically, our body is a 7.4 in pH. Yeah? The pH of us is 7.4. And the foods that are around 7 and up, which is called alkaline, they are the foods that resonates the best with us. The foods that are around 7 pH, they are called neutral, and then from 6 and down, we call them acidic. And so there are things like this. Sorry, but it's the last chart I have. It's been around all over Texas with me. But it's a very important chart, and you can find this chart on Google, and you look up alkaline foods, because what's in the green, they are our alkaline foods. that in the middle is the neutral foods, and the red is all our acidic foods. Now this is really important because even as vegans, there's plenty of vegan food in this area as well. So that doesn't necessarily mean just because you're vegan, you're healthy. Because when we eat these foods, these are your dense foods, it takes our body a lot of energy to make it neutral, right? Now these foods here, the green ones, our alkaline foods, they are your green foods, your leafy greens, your green juices. It's all your health food. Everything to do with fresh, healthy food belongs into this group. Everything else is kind of here, and unfortunately we eat about 95% of these foods, which is really unfortunate because these are acidic. And when we eat acidic, that is when we struggle physically. That's all alkaline right there.
Well, tomatoes are not acidic.
And tomatoes, when they're raw, they're not acidic, sir. But
I'm just kidding. I know tomatoes are. You
But
cook
as
them in
soon as you
an
cook
aluminum
it,
pot, you'll find out. You'll find out.
but as soon as we cook it, and that is also interesting, as soon as we cook stuff, it does become acidic because all the vitamins and minerals are killed. So therefore, do not microwave. Do not microwave it. It's foodless food, right? And it is like, unless you put popcorn in there, because popcorn is junk food anyway, right? So you might as well put it in the microwave. But if you want to eat out of the microwave food, do not use it. Do not use that. Where was I going with this? Okay, so the vibration of this is very high, and this will keep us younger. This will keep us flexible. Because if we think about it, these foods, the acidic foods, gives us pain. It gives the nerve endings, it infects it. So therefore, that's when we become stiff, our knees become stiff, we get arthritis. It's all due. Asthma, allergies, it's all an overload of these foods. And your body's trying to give you messages.
Yes.
Which you always talk about, Sandra.
That's my favorite subject.
Yeah,
my favorite subject, the messages of the body. I love this. And I usually give the example of, I remember being in 3rd grade and I was in the cafeteria with some of my girlfriends, and we were all giggling and joking, and then some of my girlfriends said, "Oh, Tyffany, here comes Leonard. You like Leonard?" And I said, "No, I don't." You know, you're with your girlfriend, you know you don't. My mouth, my mind and my mouth, because the mouth will lie, okay, said no, but my body on the inside was going, "Oh my God, I love Leonard, I love Leonard." And we do that all the time. Just think about it, okay? The brain comes up with a story or an illusion, and then we speak it, but the body always tells us the truth. The body is a truth teller. It never lies, right? It gives us messages, right? First, it talks gently to us, right? We may get a little stomachache, right? Or we may get a little headache. Or something may start hurting, but it doesn't hurt as much. But we ignore it, right? We're Americans. We live in this fast-paced world. We're taught to go, go, go. We've ignored the body. The body says, "I'm hungry." "Oh, I'll wait. I'll eat after I finish this project." The body says, "I'm asleep." "Oh, I'll wait. I can stay up till, I stayed up in college till 3. I can stay up till 3 and do this." We ignore the body when it talks to us. So at some point, it's going to stop talking to us, right? Because we've created a relationship. You have to form a relationship with your body. So if we create a relationship where we ignore the messages, it stops. So it goes from gently speaking to us to yelling, cancer, tumors, right? You can't get out of bed. That's the body. It already gave you a message, but you ignored it because denial, mind-made, that's the mind-made, that's the ego. I'm going to deny this message from my body. Body lets you know when you're eating something it doesn't like, does not align with your constitution. You know that. I remember when I was an animal eater, every time at Thanksgiving, we'd have all this food, all these turkeys and ham, and just all this stuff. And then what happens? just sleep, you're knocked out. Why? Because that's what it does. It's a sedative. Your body doesn't want it, right? But when I changed the way I ate, for instance, I did a raw food diet for 30 days. 30 days. I was 142 pounds. I went down to 116 pounds, and that was over the course, after my raw food diet, over the course of 6 months. Not only that, you know how the raw, just eating high vibrational food, what it did for me? You're gonna think this is weird, but this is the truth. I went outside, and all of a sudden, I could hear trees speaking to me, telling me that they were sad because human toxins, human anger, human sadness, and they taking all that in. Not only that, San, she can attest to this, that I was speaking to her because we FaceTime almost every day because she lives in Australia, but I was speaking to her, and all of a sudden I saw her as a boy with dark hair, extremely skinny, malnourished, behind bars with her hands gripping the bars, looking just horrible, like she was tortured. And I told her that, and I said, you're a boy in a concentration camp. And what did she tell me?
Well, I was freaked out.
Yes, you were freaked out because I was freaked out.
I was told that that's when I was in my last life.
And you had never told me that.
No.
No, I had completely changed something just by eating live, raw foods. And my body loved it. My body craved it. The juices, I swear, you will just shoot up and advance and not know what's going on if you listen to your body. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. If you work somewhere, your body will tell you if you like the job or not. If you're aligned with what you're doing, your body will tell you. I love telling stories. I used to be the deputy city attorney for the city of Temple. I did not like the job because I did not like politics. Okay? I would get this constant cough over and over and over again. The cough was familiar. Why? Because I had worked 2 other places before, and I had cough then, right? Okay, this is familiar, huh? Where have I felt this before? Where have I had this cough before? Those other jobs I did not like. I don't like this job. This job is not aligned with me. I'm going to have to resign. I did. And what do you think happened? Cough went away. Just like that. Same thing in your personal life with a partner. You like someone, your body's going to tell you if that person is true, if that person is right for you. We do it all the time, right? We get the signals at the beginning. I'm attracted to this person physically, but something in my body's telling me something's not quite right. And as women, what do we think in the back of our mind? We can fix it. And then we go through this years of suffering with this person and wonder and blame them. They hurt me. No, you hurt yourself. Why you didn't listen to your body? And I'm telling you this because I've experienced it all. Laryngitis, right? Because I wouldn't speak my truth twice. I got laryngitis, right? Because I wouldn't speak my truth. And we do that all the time. Okay, little kids, you know why little kids are so precious? Because they tell the truth. They say what's on their mind, what they feel, whatever question they have, they're going to ask you. They don't know, oh, that's not appropriate, but we're trained not to say something as an adult, something that's inappropriate. And then what happens? We become resentful because we don't speak our truth, right? We feel unempowered, right? Become sad. It's called betrayal. We betray ourselves because we think not speaking our truth is better for the other person. Oh, I'd rather them be okay than libido. Betrayal is betrayal, but the worst betrayal is betrayal of self. Okay? So listen to your body. You've already listened on one aspect. You listen to your heart. It says, I can't eat an animal. Why not apply that to the rest of your life? Don't you want to be happy? Don't you want to go through life not carrying baggage that doesn't serve you? It's more than just being vegan. It's being a whole human being.
I just wanted to explain, so I'm going to jump back to the nutritional side, because what I want to talk to you about is that the reason why these foods are so good is because of the level of sodium. We might not know this, but the more sodium in fresh food, such as your spinach, your celery, parsley, the more sodium in those green foods, the better it is for our body. Now, I don't mean sodium in like the salt, the table salt. No, that is a preservative. That's not even a food. I'm talking about the natural sodium in foods, because sodium is a softener, and the opposite of sodium is acidity, right? So what happens is, when we have these foods and we have a lot of sodium, it keeps us flexible, because it is the calcium that stays fluid with the sodium. And what happens is, if we don't eat the foods with sodium in it comes out of our fingers, it comes out of our knees and our toes. And because our stomach needs to keep that sodium as high as possible for as long as possible. Because we have hydrochloric acid, right? We have the acid that digests our foods. Now that is at 4.3 pH. It is very strong. For our stomach wall to handle that, it needs sodium, right? So what the body does, or what actually the brain does, it'll take it out of our fingers, it'll take it out of our knees, it'll take it out of our elbows, because they're like, you don't need your knees or your fingers, your stomach needs it in order to keep the hydrochloric acid as strong and pure as possible. And that's why we get arthritis. That's why we age, right? That's why we get pain and rheumatoids, because all it is a lack of sodium. So what you can do is reverse the process. If somebody says, oh, I've got sore fingers or whatever, tell them to have that green smoothie, the kale, the spinach, the celery, because that will just reverse it. After a while, after like at least 1 month, the brain will go, right, enough sodium in the body, let's put it back into the fingers where I got it from in the first place. So the whole concept is reversible. We do not have to age the way we age. I'm just going to tell you something interesting. Did you know that the minute that we actually die, our body becomes acidic? So do you have a question?
No.
No? Okay, good. The second that we die, our body becomes very acidic in order to decompose. You know, when there is when an animal's been hit on the road, it dies and it's gone like within 4 or 5 days. It smells terribly, but it dies. The reason for that is because it is so acidic, right? Now, what happens if we eat all these acidic foods? Our body goes, oh, let's have a bit of death here, right? Because it's not alive. It actually, our brain is telling our body, let's decompose, because of the level of acidity in our system. Does that make sense to you? Right? We take that out, we take acidic foods out of the system, our brain goes, let's have life, because we're eating live foods. It gets rid of all the brain fog. We all have brain fog, I know you do. Can't
Sorry.
Okay, that is purely the toxins that is stuck in our system. It gives us the skin rashes, the allergies, even like allergies. we were talking about it to a lady this morning. Her son died of peanut allergy, and she wants to buy a cure for peanut allergies. And she had like a soft drink in one hand, and I'm like, just build up your immune system with healthy food. Do what you can do for your body to build up immunity naturally. So that means eat healthy, your greens, think nice thoughts, and do nice acts. That is really what will build our immunity up. There is no reason for us to get sick. There really isn't. All that sickness isn't too much toxins in our body while our immunity is too low. That's all it is. Snotty noses in kids, it is the toxins. It's usually dairy product related, right? And dairy is horrific for our system. We are not meant to have cow formula, because that's really all that milk is cow formula. We can't actually do anything with it. Naturally, by the age of 2, we're lactose intolerant. Every single person in this world after the age of 2 is lactose intolerant. But what do? We find ways to deal with it. We get an asthma pump, or we go, we find ways to deal. We don't go to the truth. The truth is take it out of your system and you'll be fine. You'll live a really long, happy, and flexible life. I mean, I'm in my 50s and I can still do cartwheels on the beach, right? And I wish that for everybody.
Does the body follow the mind, or the mind follow the body? I know the answer.
The body so follows your mind. So you have to be here very happy. Learn to be happy, learn to forgive. Forgive is a big one. Forgiving is a big one. We have to forgive.
Even the meat eaters, or the animal eaters.
Animal
We have to
eaters.
forgive them.
You do it
They
for
know not
yourself.
what they do.
You do it for yourself.
That's right.
Because they are little messengers in our life. They're actually our mirror. They teach us how to behave ourselves. We actually do quite a bit of role play.
Yes, we do.
Do you want to?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to do a bit of role playing here. This is what vegans and animal eaters come across all the time, right? So I'm going to put Tyffany in charge of being an animal eater. and I'll be the other person. Yeah?
Yes.
All right. Hey Tiff, great to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, son. How are you?
So wonderful. So wonderful.
Good. I haven't seen you in a while. Last time I saw you, I don't know, you were going through that phase. You were one of those vegans. I don't know what you call it. Are you still going through that phase? Because you were kind of out there, like, didn't eat animals. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, I'm still vegan. And there is so many of us. There is so many. I mean, you have a look, there is millions around the world. So many of us.
I don't know how you guys are still standing up. I mean, look at you. You're scrawny. I mean, I have my beef. I'm strong. I could probably just pin you down.
All right, you're strong as an ox, right?
I'm strong as an ox.
Well, an ox is vegan. Did you know that?
That's weird.
In fact, if you look at the strongest animals in our world, they are all vegan. We have the elephants, the horses, oxes, gorillas. Gorillas are vegan as well.
Y'all make this stuff up.
You know what? It is true that gorillas eat ants, but that is so little and so every now and then. In fact, the way they are has nothing to do with eating ants. The way they are is because they are vegan.
Okay, look at these teeth. I have these canines. They're for tearing that meat apart. That's why we have these teeth.
Oh, really? So that's how you kill your animal?
No, I don't kill my animal. I go to H-E-B or Central Market or Whole Foods and I get my animal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I cook it up and put all that stuff on it and it tastes
Right.
delicious.
Have a think about that, because we do. You have to cook your food because the sight of blood disgusts us. We don't want to see no blood. We have to cook it, season it, and we use knife and fork, right? And these canines, they're tiny. Look at a gorilla's canines. They're like this big.
Yeah.
And he used to just tear branches.
I'm not convinced. We need, all the doctors say we need protein, we need vitamin B, we need calcium. Where are you going to get it from? Some plants?
Well, where do you think cows get their calcium from?
Well, cows eat grass.
Right.
Okay.
So cows and every other mammal that is vegan gets their calcium from the greens they eat. Every green has calcium in it. In fact, calcium is just about in everything. Did you know that lemon and lemon juice has more calcium in it than your glass of milk?
Okay. Maybe true. I'm not buying it, but come on now. We've been around. We are intelligent human beings. We've been around forever. Since the caveman days, we've been killing and eating, and come on, we're the smarter of the two. They're down there. We're up here. I'm an American. We eat meat with everything. What are you talking about? I grew up on meat. My people are strong. We eat meat.
Right.
I don't get the what?
Few things there, Tiff. Just because it happened back in the caveman days doesn't mean we can't change. I mean, back in the caveman days, they used to drag women by the hair. Are you saying we should be doing that as well?
Oh, some of them maybe.
You know, we did things back then. It doesn't mean we have to do them today. It's okay to change. In fact, try to throw out your old thinking habits. Today, meat eating or animal eating causes havoc with our environment. Did you know it costs a lot of water? I mean, it's 60,000 gallons of water to produce one hamburger. 60,000 gallons of water. It's a lot. It's not good for our environment. Do a bit of research. And don't you feel sorry for the animals?
I'm smarter than you.
Okay, so you're saying it's okay to kill because they are dumber?
Oh, there you go with that circular talk stuff. Can't you guys just speak straight?
All
Why
right.
are you getting me all flustered? Okay, I know why I haven't seen you in a long time.
Look, the truth is they're all excuses, right? If it was okay to eat something that is less intelligent than us, then those with an IQ of 40 or 50, it'd be okay to eat them, but it's not. I mean, I have a disabled son, his IQ is 40. That means you would be able to eat him, and it's not okay. They're just excuses. And every animal eater has their own excuses, right? When you peel back the layers, you come with the truth, and the truth is kindness. How do you want to be perceived in this world, right? Do you really want to be seen eating the flesh of another? Now, yeah, there's a lot there, but we do get asked these questions, and I'm going to ask you to learn to speak with a vegan tongue. Know your stuff, so when somebody does approach you, know how to answer them back in a normal way, not in a flustered way. Keep your ground, but learn your stuff, because we don't need to eat animals for any reason. Even the cheeses, and we've got vegan cheese, we've got vegan. We had a hamburger last week at this vegan place.
Arlo's.
Yeah, how did you?
Arlo's.
Arlo's. And nice little plug for the camera, but it was all vegan, the whole lot. It was amazing. So change is in the air, and veganism at the moment is a big wave all over the world, not just here, but all over the world. Israel and Germany are in the lead at the moment, with nearly 17% of their population being vegan and vegetarian. They're just a bit lazy. We need to come on, vegetarians, become vegan. There is still suffering in being a vegetarian, right? So, where are we at?
Tapping? Oh, you want to do some tapping?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, being uncomfortable, Tiffany teaches people, vegans, how to tap when they are uncomfortable, because we need to be strong in our position. And so I'll leave you to it, and I will tap as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We teach tapping in our talks, one, because tapping works for anything. It'll help you in your personal life, it'll help you at work, it'll help you in pretty much every aspect of your life, because like I said earlier, everything is energy. Money is energy. You can either attract it to you or you can repel it based on your own vibration. So you say, what is tapping? Why do I need to know tapping? Well, San mentioned a couple things. She mentioned excuses, and meat eaters are not, or animal. Animal eaters are not the only ones that have excuses. I look at myself every day and ask myself, why am I allowing fear or this or that emotion to stop me from living my life fully? Okay, so what I'm going to teach you, you can use in every aspect of your life, but we're going to tap on something regarding being vegan. So what is tapping? It's also known as EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques, which is derived from meridian tapping, which comes from the Chinese medical system. We have pressure points located on either side of our body, but they're called meridian lines. At the end of the meridian lines, at the surface of our body, we have what's called endpoints, where you can manipulate the energy in your body. It halts the fight or flight response, the angst that we get from anything. Some people may be feeling angst because we may have said something that touches or causes a trigger, right? We do that intentionally. Why? Because we're free. We can be who we are and not care whether people get up and walk out. That's where we want to be, right? But we don't care what people think about us. So you will, at the end point, on either side of your body, I'm going to show you different points where you just tap. It's Chinese acupressure, acupuncture minus the needles. You use your fingertips and you're going to tap on these points. And it's also psychological, emotional therapy. As you tap, you just state the truth about what you're feeling, okay? Go to EFTuniverse.com if you want to read the science. Some people want to read the science. The science will tell you that they don't understand why it works so quickly. It works so well that they're using it at Fort Hood to help the soldiers with PTSD. Nick Ordner, who wrote the book The Tapping Solution, and has his foundation took it to Rwanda to help the genocide victims, also to Connecticut to help the kids after the shootings. They're using it at schools to help kids with their test anxiety. Coaches are using it to help their athletes to enhance their performance. It's used for so many different things. When I'm stuck with money, I tap to move that energy out so I can create some new energy. The science says it creates new neural pathways in our brain, right? Because most of everything we do is based on a pattern that we formed in our brain, a neural pathway. Everything that we do is based on habit. We make decisions based on habit. Data that we've collected all our lives, other people's data that we've taken in and accepted as our own, and it's the gospel patterns. Everything we do, from how we get up, from how we choose a partner, from what jobs we choose, everything, what clothes we wear, what cars we buy, patterns, patterns, patterns. You can create new ones just by tapping, right? So, if you get that over there, the first point is called the karate chop point, okay? And there are several points that I would teach you. My training says that before we tap, we're going to think about something that's challenging, an issue, a problem, and you rate your level of intensity from 0 to 10. I teach seniors how to tap. They like, I don't want to do that, Tiffany. So I came up with another way. I always go to my body and say, okay, think about your situation. I remember tapping with this gentleman who's 96 years old, and he says, well, I don't know if I'm going to wake up in the morning. And okay, think about that, how you feel about it, okay? And then, where are you feeling? In your body. How does your body feel when you think about that, sir? Because you may not wake up tomorrow morning because you're 96 years old. Whatever you feel it or thinking about, just feel it in your body. And then after we tap, you can rate yourself again if you want to do it that way from 0 to 10 to see if you've gone down. Or just sit in your body and say, how does my body feel now? That way you know it works. I'm a body person. Again, the body never lies, right? So I'll teach you the tapping points, and then we're going to begin with the setup statement. The setup statement is even though, and then you put your issue in there, and I've selected even though I sometimes feel uncomfortable justifying why I'm vegan, I choose to let it go. So you're just going to repeat after me. I change it up based on what's coming to me, how I feel. I'm intuitive, so whatever comes to me, if someone's thinking something, I may pick up on it and I may say it. It's just how it works. Okay? So the first point is called a karate chop point. At the end of your pinky, use your forefinger, put it at the end of your pinky, your thumb at the top of your wrist, and just go to the center. Soft, fleshy spot right there. It's called the karate chop point because we go down like this. So you can tap with one finger. I like to tap with all my fingers and my thumbs, lightly. You don't need to beat yourself up. Just tap lightly. Okay? Karate chop point, we do the setup statement 3 times. The next point is called the eyebrow point. Right where the nose ridge is, on either side where the eyebrow begins. You can tap on one side, you can tap on both. It doesn't matter. I don't believe in rules that you have to do it this way. Okay, that's ego. So do it the way you feel, your body tells you. The next point is called the side of the eye. Follow your eyebrows all the way to the end. You know this point because if you've had a headache, you've probably gone like this, right? The temple right there, there's a little bone. It's at the side of the eye. One side, you can tap both sides. The next point is under the eye, which is right directly underneath the pupil. You can tap one, you can tap both. The next point is called under the nose. It's not under the nose though. It's at the top of your lip in that crevice right there. That is called under the nose.
Filtering.
Yeah.
That's it. Well done.
I know because I'm always playing with mine.
I love it. I love it. The next one is the chin point. Not on the chin. In between the chin and the bottom lip in that depression. The next point is called the collarbone point. Where the collarbone is down an inch, either side, left and right, an inch. You can tap on one side. You can tap on both. My seniors usually just this. Tyffany, I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, you can do it that way. Next point, under the arm. For a man, 4 inches underneath the armpit. For a woman, it's technically the same thing, but they say in the center of your bra strap, which to me is 4 inches under the armpit. Okay, and then you're going to end with the top of the head, and you know where it is? You should know. You have a baby. Anyone who's had a baby, what do you tell people don't touch? The soft spot, exactly. That's where we end. That's one round of tapping. We're going to do continuous round, and you don't have to come back to the karate chop point. You're going to go from the top of the head to the eyebrow, side of the eye, under the nose, chin, collarbone, under the arm, back to the top of the head. Okay, so I want you guys to think about being vegetarian or vegan and having to justify why you choose that lifestyle and how it makes you feel sometimes. Okay? Now, if you don't want to think about that, we're going to tap on that. Think about something that you're dealing with right now that's more pressing, maybe. Okay? Someone who may have said something to you, something's going on at home or at work, just anything in your life, and feel it in your body, or rate it from 0 to 10. I say picture it, see it. If it's something that happened today, play it like a movie in your mind. And you're going to get there. And you know how it makes you feel. Okay? So, we're going to tap on the vegan issue. But whatever your issue is, you're going to get the same benefit from whatever your issue is. It's just how it works, because you're just moving energy and you're changing your brain. You're actually creating a new. So just repeat after me. Even though I get uncomfortable sometimes having to justify being vegan or vegetarian, right now I choose to let that go. Even though I sometimes get uncomfortable having to justify my lifestyle to others, why I don't eat animals, right now I choose to let that go. Even though I sometimes feel discomfort because I have to justify everything that I do in my life to other people. Right now I choose to accept myself right where I am. Eyebrow point. Sometimes I feel uncomfortable having to justify myself side of the eye. I feel uncomfortable sometimes. People questioning me about my lifestyle, about the decisions that I make, me and my family. That's really none of their business. Why do I have to justify myself? I'm capable of making decisions for myself. I'm capable of choosing what I want to put in my body. I'm capable of deciding that I want to be compassionate. Not eat animals. I'm capable of making my own life decisions. They are all in my business. Asking me questions. They need to pay attention to their own life. Because I'm okay. I'm okay right where I am. I'm okay being loving. I'm okay being compassionate. I'm okay being kind. I choose to be what I want to see in the world. And I'm okay with that. Take a deep breath. I love that.
That was a good one.
That was good.
Yeah. Thank you. And each point, the reason I didn't tell you this, but it relieves and reduces physical and emotional stress. Because doctors now say that 85 to 95% of our physical ailments are due to emotional stress. Now you have a tool, right, for that. Because each point also correlates to a certain organ in your body.
Are there any questions? Boy, we really explained everything really well.
I don't know about that, but I've been on that side
There
before.
is a book called
Yes, sir.
The World Peace Diet. Remember
Yes,
we
the
went?
title?
We're talking about him.
Yeah, well titled, and that's a good book to read.
Yes.
It explains everything we're reading. I mean, you were talking about, but it goes further in depth into every detail that you mentioned, every
Absolutely.
facet.
Yeah,
it
he's
says
a
that
good
it's-
friend of mine.
Yeah,
He
really,
comes to
okay.
Australia and stays with me.
Yeah, when he says the reason that so many people are so hard up on eating the way they do is because that's the way they're trained. It's how you're trained by your parents. First of all, they bring home the meat. You have the Sunday meals. You have the all the holidays and all the special occasions, and it's always around the meat.
Yes, it is.
There's funerals, there's weddings, there's whatever. There's always the meat. You know, and so you begin to think that this is the way it is.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, here comes somebody that approaches you, and you have to face that individual. And if you want to be a friend of theirs, a lot of times it puts friction there because you want to attain that friendship, but you can't because there's a barrier there. There's an understanding that it's not there. Or
Yes.
that it doesn't connect.
Yes.
And this is what's happening with the world today. You know,
Yeah. It is tradition, but
It
that
is
doesn't
tradition.
mean it can't change. The tradition has to stay, like you have food with every celebration. However, whatever that food is can change. And there is such a strong connection because it starts at baby. What happens when baby cries? We stick milk in its mouth, right? So the baby learns comfort and food, and it's from that day onward. And when they are 2 and 3, they become horrible. What do? We give them right? To shut them up. They very quickly learn that there is emotion and food are attached to each other. It doesn't mean it has to be animal related. It's very strong. That's true. Thank you. Any other thing?
And we can change. My mom is
I did it for
66.
51 years. I was a meter for 51
Yeah.
years.
Oh wow.
Like,
Yeah, and all of a sudden I
she
changed at
Well
51. So,
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
So I can go vegan for about a week or 2. All of a sudden, I see pizza. But at least it's a cheese pizza.
Yes. And you
Yeah,
know
but-
what? Don't be.
But I fight it. I do fight it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want a potato and egg
egg.
taco and I just go for potatoes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't just leave it on the egg.
It is what we focus on. If we focus on our taste buds, then pizza is definitely hard to give up.
Yeah.
But if we focus on the suffering that's attached to cheese, we focus on the cow or the animal, then there is no race there, there is no argument there. But it's what we choose to focus on. I've written a book, So Why Become Vegan, and it is mainly nutritional based, and along the title's line is actually quite similar. But it's also the environmental issues because animals do. It's just ridiculous how much damage they do to our environment. It's also spiritual and also ethical related, this book. So, and I'm also a nutritionist, and so because this is our last, I don't want to go home with all these books. I thought I decided to give whoever buys it, to give him a voucher with me that we can do over Skype, where I look into your diet and we tweak it a little bit just to make it a bit more healthier for you regarding alkaline acidic foods. I'm an iridologist. I can see on Skype what your eyes are like, and I can have a consultation with you, which comes for free. It's valued at $130, but I give it to you for free with my book, which I think I'm discounting everything today too, because I really like it. So normally this is $24.95 in the shop, but I'll sell it for $20 today. In fact, I think the smaller books can go for $10. And our t-shirts, which normally are $25, I'll just do $20 as well. And we do take credit card. And I can't judge for your book, but okay.
I wrote, this is my first book called Tap That. I give different exercises on tapping, but I go through so many different areas, relationships, wealth, exercise, eating, anger, and as I said, I love telling stories. So each chapter, there's a story based on something that's happened to me. Going at it with the judge one time, and I learned, he actually taught me, so I mentioned earlier, we're all triggers, we're all mirrors of each other. If we can look at that, at our talk in Dallas, she read the story of the little soul in the sun, Neil Donald Walsh's Conversations with God, and if we can remember, if you leave with one thing from this talk, that everyone that you come up against or you meet and have contact with, that's friendly soul, that they're here to remind you, to remind them that they're light. Isn't that beautiful? So someone cuts in front of you, just remember, that's friendly soul. Just tell yourself, that's friendly soul, that's friendly soul. They're light, I'm light, which is beautiful. So I give little stories in there, and then we've also written together, Tap into Transformation, the Spirit, Mind, and Body Connection. San has written a beautiful, beautiful children's book, because I reviewed it. I know it's beautiful. Jack's Trip to India.
That's actually quite interesting because in Australia we eat animals like we do here, but it's about a family that goes to India where they worship cows. And the family thinks, how is that possible? Well, you know, because there were people begging there, they were hungry in the street, and the family is like, why don't you eat the cow? You know, it's just sitting there, and they were horrified because they are worshipped. And they basically said, well, we don't eat our dog, you know, and in other countries they do eat dog and cat. Where does it say what animal is right or wrong? It's not, it's the killing that is wrong. I mean, what happened to Cecil the lion last week is a perfect example. You know, the lion that got killed, and it's all over the world. It's an outrage, right? He's lost his job, and he's going to get, I think he's going to get, you know, be put in jail because a lion was killed, right? But this year alone, so far, it's 150 billion animals that were killed. 150 billion land animals. And we're all upset about the lion, I am too, but where's the perspective? Yeah. So I thank you so much for your time. Is there any other questions?
Another thing that irritates me is when people are saying we need to, you know, cut back on our showers, we need to cut back on bottled water, and all that kind of stuff. People, I just came back, we just got back from California, and they're having that shortage up there. All they gotta do is stop producing cattle,
Yes.
and their water problem will be over.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And not just for California, but worldwide.
Yeah.
You know, there's people right now dying, okay, because there's not enough grain, but yet we're pouring our grain into our cattle.
Yes.
We're stripping down our rainforest for the cattle,
Cattle, absolutely.
just to raise cattle.
Yes.
And they talk about these greenhouse emissions or this global warming. That's where it's coming from. It's not the cars, the factories, the trains, the planes. It's not that. But
It's
people
the
don't get
dairy
it.
industry.
They're always talking about, you know, cutting back on the sprinklers and, you know, getting water safer sprinkler edge or whatever. And it's kind of like, why? That's not where it's at. Obama just came up with some kind of new program to cut down something to do with emissions or whatever. But he's not addressing the fact, just like the inconvenient truth.
Well, we want to be real careful with our facts.
Yeah.
Because it is the factories that are the main
No,
source
No,
of
no,
I
no,
disagree
no,
with
close
that.
to it. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's what everybody thinks, that it's the factories, but actually it's factories, planes, trains, and cars, whatever, it's
Everything
18%
together,
of
yeah.
that.
Put it all together.
All the animals worldwide is about 51%.
100%. There's an amazing movie called Cowspiracy.
Conspiracy is, you need to watch that.
Please watch Cowspiracy. If you put up planes, trains, cars, motorbikes, every transport you can think of together, the pollution that produces is still much less than the pollution produced by the meat and dairy industry. And if you watch Cowspiracy, it's a great movie. It'll show you exactly what happens in this world to cover up those truths. It is an amazing movie. So I thank you for your time. Yes, sir.
I want to ask you something. There's no answer to it right now, but I want you. I've asked Tuttle. I've asked others. We end up speaking to the choir usually
Yes.
because the others don't come to listen. And that's the main problem, is that people will not think, actually address it in a logical manner. They just reject. They will not discuss, because, as we said, because it's the way they think or raised. Somewhere has to come up with some ways that we get through so that we can actually have discussions with everybody. We can spout the facts, the environmental facts, the nutrition facts, but the nutritionists refuse. You know, they really don't have a discussion,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
They refuse to discuss.
Yeah.
They refuse
They're scared.
to use law to discuss. There's got to be some way to get a discussion out there. Just even just discuss on the either on the ethical, the health, or the environment, but just on the ethical. Say, let's discuss what it feels like, why you shouldn't kill a living being.
So I
Anyway,
thank you for that.
if you come
and
up
I
with it,
agree.
and please
Yeah.
tell me, because I'll be out of the street.
Look, 50 years ago, it was absolutely acceptable to smoke. Even in hospitals, we smoked. Doctors gave us a cigarette to
Yes,
smoke,
like,
right?
yes.
Yeah, we were allowed to smoke
I
everywhere.
remember that.
Slowly but surely that became unacceptable, and now people feel ashamed to smoke. And the same will happen, not that I'm suggesting we should shame people into eating animals, but if more of us will say no, and like, we've been talking to so many animal eaters this month, and they just say, oh no, I love my bacon. And all we said was, but don't you feel sorry for the animal? That's all we said. We said it in a loving way. Don't you feel sorry for the animal? And it stopped them. It stopped them from just thinking. One person said no, and we're like, well, what about environment? Do you care for the environment? Oh yes, I'm an environmentalist. Bang, then you've got your statistic about the environment. What about they shall not kill? It doesn't say they shall not kill unless it's an animal. It is they shall not kill. On every single level, veganism makes sense. So, like I was saying before, learn to speak that language in a kind way, because we need to stay
I
kind.
realize, and I just get so frustrated
me
because turn on
too.
TV
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
and if somebody, they might have somebody on there speaking about nutrition.
That's it, right?
There we go.
Tiffany, the thing I like about tapping is it looks so silly, and, and it makes me laugh. And with us all doing it, and you having a really serious thing that you're saying, whilst doing it, it brings me joy, regardless of their regular lines. It's just so silly, and it reminded me of something. When I first moved here, I was 15, and my only brother was 17, and we learnt to drive on the wrong side of the road and car, and we used to find it hilarious to do this at the traffic light till the person in front of us looked in the mirror and wondered what we were doing. We just did it. Stupid. It was a tapping thing. It was on our nose, which isn't one of the places that you mentioned. But it made us laugh to do that repetitive motion. I've asked him if he wants to do it again now that he's 50. And it reminded me of that when you were doing it.
Oh, you can tap.
Oh, you can? Great.
Yeah.
But I would like to do more tapping because it's just joyful. It's just silly and repetitive. And it also feels good because you never really tap.
Yeah.
Here, you know?
Yeah.
This is my best friend Kimberly.
Hi, Kimberly.
She founded the organisation, and her friend Lenny London is the one I was telling you about.
Yes.
Yes. Also, we'll have to connect you. But Tiffany, I'm in love with you, and you will have to come back and speak to our group again.
Definitely. Thank you. It's an honor.
Because that would be awesome, and we'll have a bigger group. So thank you so much,
Thank
ladies,
you.
for coming.